Hi, this is Stan. Welcome back. Well, we're on the road. We're out at Saguaro Central, and among other things, we've got some track work to do today, so stay tuned. Well, we had a bit of rain yesterday. Things are dried out a little bit. Bob's here with me and a couple of the other guys here at Saguaro Central, and we had to pull up some track in this big turn behind me. The ground wasn't cooperating, so we had to pull the track panels out. It's got to be regraded, and we actually have to put a bend in some of the rails. The other panels were put in straight. We're going to try and put a bend, and so I'll try and give you some shots of the action as we go along. Plus, a bunch of equipment was brought down from Nevada, and I want to see what kind of cool stuff they brought back for the railroad. Well, first Bob and I got to dig a little section of this out by hand. We got to level it, and then we can bring the tractor in and get some power assistance for the rest of the turn. Look at all those pieces of rail there. All sorts of traffic, cars and trucks drive across here, so actually just two of those rails are the real track. The other rails just provide protection and support so that wheels on vehicles, some of them rather large industrial vehicles, are not rocking and working the actual two rails that the trains use. And here's another project we're going to get started on. Got to pull the ties off all these rails so we can put the rail in a bender and put a little more bend on the rail. All right, well, we're waiting for the tractor. We got to get these ties all pulled so we can bend the rail. There you can see the transom. And we're a little over 80 feet. So once we get this graded out, we're going to mark the position of these sleepers all the way through the turn. So that's 80 feet 5 inches, and we'll try and mark all the ties as we go through the turn. And here's the laser, and we've got to shoot elevation, and then we're going to pull distances so that we can get this turn scoped out. And we got some local wildlife supervision going on here.
Okay, so first number is 5.48. And the second number is 5.2, which means this is high.
So at stick one here, we got to cut 3 inches.
And that's about the same, about 3-inch cut on the second stick.
This ground is pretty hard packed, so we're going to put some spikes on the tractor and dig just a bit. And of course we found the conduit. And the wiring. And in case you haven't seen one of these before, this is a cone farm. And you can see all the little baby cones there that haven't been harvested yet. They're still blue. And when they get ripe, they stand up and turn orange. And then we can pick them and put them out on the road for work. And then they get near the end. Now that we have the grading done, time to lay out these ties. And we just got all of the 4x4 ties just kind of roughed into position. We scribed our radius and did some rough spacing in between. And I think that's going to wrap it up for the track work today. And look, the switching tower is making great progress. And in here will be a passenger platform. Well, I guess this might be some sort of floral arrangement. All right, well, we got a lot of track work done today. We've got more to do, but Bob just got back from Nevada where they were able to get a stash of some cool railroad equipment. Some of it they can use here at Saguaro Central. Some they'll probably have to sell to raise some money. But Bob, let's talk about those maintenance of way cars there. They look pretty cool. Let's go over there.
Certainly.
Okay, Bob, on another episode, we'll go into detail on these, but these look really cool. Very narrow gaugey.
Bruno did a great job. These are 2.5-inch scale, well, 3-inch scale, call it, for us. In this case, they're just a freelance car. This is a conductor car for the 15-inch gauge railroad. There's a seat here, there's air brakes on board, and that keeps the conductor watching the passengers who will be in the cars ahead.
Wow, that's a super donation. Now, who is Bruno that you went up to see in Vegas? We haven't really introduced him.
Bruno Plotzer is a custom builder of locomotives and cars. His work is exquisite, as evidenced by the cars that we have, and he's been in the business for many years. He and his wife decided they would promote a 15-inch railroad in North Las Vegas at a park called Craig's Park. And when that did not come to fruition after many years of trying to bring it online, he and his wife decided to go back to their normal lives, which would be his 2.5-inch scale locomotives, his cars, things of that nature, just to keep his hand in the job. But
7.5-inch gauge?
7.5-inch gauge, 2.5-inch scale. So they're big locomotives on very skinny track. And his work is absolutely exquisite. A number of members at our club have work from Bruno Plotzer.
Also, you guys brought back some signaling, looks like towers over there and crossbars. What's up with those?
Well, it's part of Bruno's proposed railroad in Las Vegas, why he had the good fortune of ending up with some full skies real crossing guards, the gate that comes down over the roadway, and the blinking lights with the railroad crossing signs. All that full size, the real deal, was donated to him along the way some years back for this railroad. Maybe we needed it worse than he did. So his suggestion was, if we come up to Vegas to pick up the maintenance of way cars and the conductor car, then we may as well pick up all that other stuff that goes along with it. So we did that, and that filled 2 full-size trailers, just getting that back to feet.
Okay, one last thing before we call it a day, and that is that really cool-looking speeder over there.
Well, that speeder turns out to be a Fairmont, and I'm at odds for telling you which exact model it is because it's hard to tell with what we have remaining of the pieces parts. But it is a speeder that was from Fairmont, which was an air-cooled engine, And it was expected that 2 men could lift that speeder off when there's an oncoming train. The schedule says there's stuff coming your way. Get off the track at 9:05, so they get off at 9:05. Having had the joy of trying to lift that into the trailer, though, I will tell you that if there were 2 men that lifted that Fairmont speeder, they were much better men than I.
Well, it looks a little beat up, but it still looks cool. It looks like the front of a truck cab, you know, like in...
Yes, it does. And there's a little putt-putt in there that's air-conditioned. It's a one-lung engine. It just goes putt-putt-putt-putt as you go down the track. It's for inspection primarily. True rail speeders for rail crews, track crews, would be much larger, more involved canopy and engine and all that. This is just a little one-man guy.
Well, that's going to wrap it up for this week. We got a lot of fun left on this project, so I'll see you right here next time.